So let's go over to gold. Go over to gold here. All right. So what are we looking at, ladies and gentlemen? Sorry. I can't answer questions in the chat yet. I will after we do a rundown of this. Okay. So the very first thing we did from the top-down analysis, right? Just a quick rundown is we did the Anchor VWAP, which Sean really likes to use, and there's a whole book written on the Anchor VWAP logic. So we add that, right? I'm just gonna take the images off for now. And that just basically gives you a level that price may find buyers or sellers. If the overall general theory is if that the anchored VWAP is above, or the price is above anchored VWAP, that's considered bullish. If it's below, that's considered bearish, right? Obviously, we're in a range right now, so it's just really choppy. It's just really choppy, right? We've been in this range for let's see how long we've been in this range, actually. This is kind of crazy, isn't it, guys? Gold, it just, oops, whoa, you can do pictures? Look at this. Oh, man, that's so cool. Okay. Yeah, look at this range here. Is that smiley face creeping out? Look at that. 70, I would say, yeah, look at this. About 75 days kind of chopping back and forth. Right. So that makes it really difficult for trend traders too. Like any trend based strategy can be difficult. So if the last couple months have been bad for you guys, they haven't been as good for me either, as opposed to these previous market conditions. Right. This was really like, look at this. Look how beautiful that trending action is. And that's why what this is yeah, this is Christmas. It started trending right at Christmas. Look at that. So yeah, since Christmas, like I had months that were so hot on prop firm payouts, like 50K plus months, like ridiculous. Like, and I know when you get hit months like that, it's not like that's not going to be like that forever, right? But you just take it when you get it. And then once these conditions started going on, you see the profits pull back, right? And I think it's just because it's a lot harder to just get a bias for the day and get on the right side of the trade when you have a lot of this choppy price action. And that's going to be true for any asset, right? Unless you're some kind of very specific RSI trader where the stars align. Anyway, so, okay, I'll get rid of this. I'll delete the smiley face. I'll pick a different face later. So this is the Anchor VWAP. We found that we anchored it to the 4-hour all-time high. Okay, and then what we want to do is we just want to look at a few other levels. What I did last week is I took the Fibonacci retracement. I run it from the high to the low of this previous really strong move, right? And I just really like looking at these three levels right here, 618, 50, and 382. Now, something to notice on price right now, gold is just dumping. Hello, did something happen? Chat, did Trump tweet something? I've been dealing with this VIP, so I haven't watched the news. Tell me if anything happened, because look at this. Or was there high impact news? Let me check. Was there high impact news, guys? CPI. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. CPI. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, yes. I should have known. Normally I would know that, but it's just because I've been so preoccupied. Okay, so CPI. Now that's interesting because price is coming right into this 382 fib level pullback and right on this 4-hour anchored VWAP on the all-time high. So this could be a price point to watch out for, 33.20. Okay, maybe it'll break through, but we just want to see how it closes there. So that's just something to be aware of. And this is just part of the top-down analysis when we're looking at key levels, right? Another key level here is, yeah, I don't think there's another key level that's too relevant. I think maybe this one isn't too this one isn't too bad because we do have a lot of reaction to it historically. So maybe we can consider that, which is, that makes sense. It's 3,300. Yeah, obviously. Okay, so 3,300 is what we call a psychological level. And especially on gold, you'll get these really even numbers or any asset where buyers or sellers are waiting. It's like it's like if you were to say, you know what, I don't want to buy gold right now, but I would buy it at 3,300, right? So there's a lot of people thinking that, therefore there's a reaction at that price point. So just so you know, okay. Okay, so that's enough for the key levels. There's nothing else really. Obviously the 618 level right here is nice. You know what I'll do? Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll leave it like that because we had a reaction to it, right? And we had a previous consolidation reaction to it right here. These are 4-hour candles, so it is relevant. So um yeah, just be aware of that. Okay. So what we want to do after we kind of look at the higher time frame, bigger picture, we know price is ranging, right? Nothing's really trending. We're going through a pullback off the previous pump. Anchor VWAP level sitting around 3320. We also have another psychological level at 3300 to be aware of. That price is moving in the direction of. I'm live. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine. My wife's just gonna grab her purse. Okay. Okay, so let's go down to the 1 hour. This is where we start doing the analysis for the PFK entry model. Okay, I'm going to remove these open price lines. There we go. Okay, so that's kind of nice. The anchor VWAP is at the same level as the 4 hour when we go to 1 hour. That's a good sign. Because you'll notice it shifting around because it anchors off the close of the candle. Okay, so it'll shift around when you move time frames a bit, but it's for a general area reference. So what we want to do is we want to pull up the 9 and 20 EMA. Okay, so that's pulled up. Now the idea is we're looking for momentum on the 1 hour chart because what we're going to do after we determine the current momentum is we go down the 5-minute chart and we look for an entry with that momentum. Okay, so the 1 hour is really just to see who's in control. Is it buyers in control or is it sellers in control? Right? And then you say, well, if they're in control, how in control are they? Right? So I'm so glad that the price action is looking like this today because we can really see some really good answers here to that question. So if we look at Friday going in, Friday, this is all Friday. Yeah. If we look at Friday, we can see all of Friday, just buyers were really in control, other than this one little pocket of time where it looks like they were losing momentum, but ultimately they overpowered. So the only time, like if I'm doing an analysis on the 1 hour and let's say I cut back to a replay here, right? Like to there, let's just go there. Okay. Let's just pretend this is real time. And I'm seeing that, okay, well, buyers were in control, but I mean, look, we're losing momentum with the buyers, right? And even though the EMAs are still signaling bullish, we are losing momentum. So I would just like avoid taking a trade until some more clear bullish price action continues up or until it reverses and some clear bearish momentum takes over. Okay. So this is a perfect example of like, it's okay to just pause the entry model strategy, which you'll see when I drop down to the 5-minute, until we get a clear picture of momentum. But through here, this is perfect right here. This is the momentum that we really love to see with the PFK right here. Okay. So nice, clean, upward bullish momentum. You know, we have these small pullbacks, which will ultimately give us some good entries on the 5-minute chart. And then we just run that as long as it lets us. Okay, so let's just exit this replay here. Okay. Now, you can see we had nice bullish momentum, and then it shifts here. And with the PFK Alpha strategy, this is where potentially we can see some pain or some losses, right? When there's a shift in momentum, right? A sudden shift in momentum, because like if for some reason we found an opportunity to go long here, well, then we don't get enough steam upwards before it reverses. So these types of situations can be difficult to navigate, where, you know, there's a crossover. Now it's bearish. And now look what happens here. So it's bearish, right? And now it's consolidating after a sell-off. And then it pumps bullish again. So it crosses over bullish again. Now, these are the market. Yeah, like I said, these are the market conditions that are going to be difficult. So I will say that this is just going to be the reality of trading in the markets. It's not always going to be perfect price action for whatever strategy you're running. But we can see that, normally we do have good, solid price action. That's good enough to trade. Like we had this nice long run. We have this nice bearish run. This is like a full day of just sell off, right? This might have been a little bit difficult to navigate here, but we have more nice price action there. We have nice price action here to navigate, right? And then here, like moves like this would be beautiful to trade with, right? And then even this here too, right? This is still this is the consolidation area that we're avoiding here. Obviously losing steam, like there, but then it comes back to looking like buyers are in control, right? So there could have been a really nice entry model somewhere around here. That's it. And guys, this is a 1 hour chart. So this is a $22 move. So if you're day trading, there's going to be opportunities to enter in, even because if we look at this, it doesn't look like much relative to this move, right? But this move is let's look at that. This move is like a $60 move, right? And if we're day trading in a range where we're targeting $15 moves or something, I mean, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to hit your TP multiple times, which we've seen so many times happen with the PFK Alpha. So even though this is just a little small move here, it looks like there's still going to be opportunity to hit a TP if you get the proper entry signal. Okay, so that's just kind of the idea of the 1 hour. And let's see here. Okay, so this is the thing, guys. When it's choppy like this, we don't know when this is going to happen. It's going to happen, and this is just going to. I mean, this is going to be more likely either no trade setups really. Well, when we drop down to the 5 minute, we'll take a look. But this whole area is just there's just nothing. The conditions aren't great for the PFK Alpha, right? Just because it's choppy through this momentum. Like buyers or sellers can't decide. Now that we have news, we have sellers clearly in control. So after it crosses, what I like to do on the 1 hour is I just like to let a few candles play out. Be patient. Let the price action play out. Establish some structure below these cross bearish EMAs, right? And then once we've established some structure, then we can start looking for trade setups again, right? And I'll show you how we're looking for trade setups when it dropped down to the 5 minute time frame. Okay, so because we have news and because we're at this key level of support, we definitely wouldn't want to go short right now, right? Ideally, what we want to see happen is we just want to see this kind of bounce up a bit, create some structure, break through that support, and then, as it continues down, these EMA lines will continue down, and we can really find some beautiful short setups underneath this price action once we break this major support, this Anchor VWAP and all that. So just being patient for the right conditions is probably the hardest part about this trading strategy, because I understand that everybody just wants to find a strategy that always has winning trade setups in any market conditions, and that just would never be the reality for any strategy. And if there's some influencer you see out there that you're trying to learn from claiming that there is, it's just not true, and you're just going to be disappointed long term. I'm trying to be realistic here. But with this strategy, in my opinion, it does very well, especially with prop firm challenges, because we can set up the risk parameters and the day trading parameters to fit kind of in those prop firm trading rules, which is such a great way to approach passing challenges. So now that we've determined that, let's just look at how this looks like on the 5 minute. So we'll drop down to the 5 minute. Actually, I'm just going to delete this. Actually, I'll keep this because we know that's when I drop down to the 5 minute, you'll see this Anchor VWAP line shift, I think. So just be aware of that because it's anchoring off the all-time high 5 minute candle close. Okay, so we can do that. Oh, barely. Okay, that's pretty good. That's good. Okay, so we know if we go to the 1 hour chart. Okay, so this is where it gets annoying, right? When it's crisscrossing, because you'll have to mark up where it turns bearish and where it was bullish, right? So let's try that. So let's go gold for bearish and this for bullish. And these market conditions are freaking horrific right now. Yeah, let's make that a different color. What color should we make that? Green for bullish, sure, why not? And then this is bearish again. This is bearish. We wouldn't even know it until after that crossover there. Yeah. Oops. That's bearish technically. I'll go back to gold. Let me just set this up so it makes sense for you guys. Okay, it's close enough, I think. Okay, now when we drop to the 5 minute, you're going to see like kind of like, okay, so gold, we go short, green, we go long, right? So we're looking, so in here, we're looking for a buy signal, right? Because we had a shift in momentum on the 1 hour, which is where this green box starts. And then we had sellers step in, a pullback, which is nice, and a crossover here. So this, I think this right here, this would be an entry signal. Okay. Right. This would be the entry signal for the PFK. And obviously this is going to be a situation where, wait, what time of day is that? Oh, okay, this is open price. Wait, where's my open price? Hello? Oh yeah. Oh, I'm tripping right now. 1 second. What's going on with my settings? Visibility? No. Daily open, this one. Let's make it better so we can see it. Align. There we go. And we'll make it like thicker. And we'll make it purple. There we go. Okay. Purple. There. Okay, so this is the daily open price. So yeah, this would have been a valid entry. And I just wanted to show you guys a situation where it doesn't work out and why, right? Because obviously it's not going to have a 100% win rate. But just to understand why it's lost can help you potentially, understand the logic for the future. So basically, we get a long signal here. Everything shift bullish. It looked good on the 1 hour, right? It looked pretty good on the 1 hour in here. So if we look on the 1 hour, we had a nice clean crossover. We're already like 1, 2, 3, 4 candles in bullish. So, I think that validates some bullish momentum coming in. So we look at the 5 minute here. We enter on this trade, right? And we enter probably after that nice candle close. There's going to be a clean cross. We go like that. And obviously we can go, on the 1 hour ATR is usually what I use for the stop loss. So if we go to the 1 hour ATR indicator, we can kind of look at this range. And this is what I was talking about in the VIP earlier. When you're going with the ATR, you can look at the average, you zoom out quite a bit, and you can look at the low and the high of that average price range. So we're between like $7 and $10. Okay. So that's a really nice range to kind of build your trade around for your stop loss, $7 and $10. And then you can really adjust it according to the previous price action. So because we had a swing low here, we could go a bit more aggressive with this one. Let's just say we could choose the $7 just because the previous support, let me exit this one. Previous support right here was there, right? So just put our stop loss just below that one. And that's a good enough defense for me with the trade setup. Okay. So, and then for the take profit, we can zoom out and look back here and we can see, hey, look at this, right? This is a really interesting level where sellers really took over. So let's mark that as a potential target for our profit, right? So this is where you really start to build out your risk to reward model, not based off of some set one that you have in your head, but based around market structure on the 5 minute, right? So if that logic makes sense to everyone, that's how I set up the trade here, because I want to go use the 1 hour ATR roughly for the stop loss. So that's between $7 and $10. I determined $7 is acceptable here. And then I want to target this previous supply zone where sellers took over 3 times, right? So then I get myself a 1 to 5 risk reward trade, which is perfect, right? So we built this trade around the relevant market structure. Okay. So now, obviously this trade doesn't win, but the process that we went through to set up this trade was perfect, right? A whole bunch of times in the past year, we could have gone through the same process and won the trade. There are situations where it's going to lose. And I just want to show you guys that, It's not going to win all the time, right? And that's it's okay. It's okay if it doesn't win all the time, right? Yeah, so that's an idea of the that's an idea there of the the trade setup where, you know, we're going off the 1 hour and it doesn't it's just so choppy right now, but you can't really know it's choppy until hindsight, right? And that's the problem, right? This thing, who knows? This thing could have just kept running up and up and up and up. We don't know, right? It didn't even hit this previous swing high. It just rolled over again. And that's just, sometimes price is just going to do that. But if we look down here, right? If we look down here in this area, let's go back. Let's go back to when it should work out here. Okay. Should I clear? I'm going to clear. Oh, I don't want to. I'm just going to clear some of these lines. I don't want to give you guys a headache. Cool. Okay. So let's just pretend just pretend we're in real time here. I can go back. We know it's going to trend, but whatever. Oops. But I'm just showing you. Okay, so we just had a crossover way down there. Right? Crazy. Okay, whatever. We'll just look at it in the 5-minute. Okay, so we'll just mark up this area here. And we'll mark it green for bullish. Okay. So I'm going to delete this arrow. We don't need an arrow that big. So let's go down to the 5-minute. Where's my EMAs? Come on, there we go. So you can see on the 5-minute here how many trading opportunities kind of came up, right? And they all would have worked out, right? Because price action on the 1 hour had so much bullish momentum. And those are the trading conditions that will play out in our favor when we do trade this entry model. So we can see here that, let me just get some lines away here. Okay. We can see here that our first crossover, when it started going bullish, was, this, I wouldn't say this is, just because this is kind of like where it crossed from bearish to bullish on the 1 hour. So you have to be realistic, right? So this area I wouldn't consider a signal just because it's going to be inconclusive in real time, right? So we can say that this area right here, we can say that this point here, we had a nice crossover right here, right? So this is the trade alert where you would say, okay, there's a bullish crossover, right? We had a pullback here, which caused the EMAs to cross over bearish to the 9 and the 20, and then buyer step back in, recrossing those bullish. Therefore, that is a signal for us to take a look at the market to see if we want to set up a trade and how our trade's going to look. Okay, so let's pretend we're setting up this trade in real time. I'll go back to here. There we go. Okay. All right, so we had a nice crossover, as you can see. And now, so we're going to go long, obviously. Set up that trade like that. Okay. Now, there's a few things we can do here. So once again, we want to consider the 1 hour ATR, right? So if we go that, we know the range is between $7 and $10, right? So because we know that, now we can kind of set up our stop loss first. We always want to set up our stop loss first, okay? We can see that just to get in that $7 range right here, oops, that's a $7 range. Now, we have this consolidation area right here to the left here. And my $7 stop loss kind of hits that consolidation range. So if you want to set your stop loss just below that consolidation range, that can also be an extra level of defense. So a $9 stop loss this time might be better than a $7 stop loss. Not a huge difference, but still another line of defense against this consolidation area, right? So it just makes you feel a little bit better about, where your stop loss is sitting. You want to look at it beforehand. So when you're reanalyzing it as price is moving against you potentially, you don't want to look at that and say, oh man, I should have moved my stop loss down there. Now you have to move your stop loss down lower because now you're seeing that support. But then that's going to increase the risk on your trade, which is a terrible habit, like I said before, right? So you want to always determine your stop loss level before you set up the trade. Otherwise, you're going to risk more and more if you move that stop loss later. Okay, so after you've determined that, then you go with then you can go with a 1 to 100 reverse risk to reward for a guaranteed win. Yeah, so we want to look at this previous price action to the left. Now, this is a great situation. So we can see that we had major resistance here, right? Major resistance here. But the problem with that is if we're targeting that resistance, we cannot get a 1-to-1 risk to reward. So we have to go above this level. Now, what I would do in this situation is, because of all of this resistance where sellers stepped in, maybe if price reaches to that level, I just set my stop loss to break even, right? That's a valid decision to make based off of recent previous price action, right? So it's always, that's why I always call this, a good trader always does situational analysis. All the worst traders are taking a trade based off of one blind indication that they should enter the trade. There's always a combination of risk parameters, structure, and different little things to consider and it might be intimidating at first, guys, but when you do it over and over again, like when I'm doing this now, it's like almost breathing to me. It gets so easy, and that's what makes you a good trader, is just doing this every day as part of your daily routine, right? And that's why, like, in the VIP channel, we have these alert signals that come out whenever this crosses, so people can know, okay, it's time to analyze the chart. Let's take a look at it. Let's analyze it to see if we can find a good trade setup with good risk parameters. So what I would do is, yeah, as soon as price pumps up here, I move my stop loss to break even, and maybe it stops me out. Really, just set your trade up to start like a 1 to 1.5. And if you want to, you can even trail $5 behind the price as long as you can, if you want to look for a high risk reward trade, right? But this is the default base setup that I would do. So let's just see how that would play out, right? Let's zoom in a bit. First of all, let's add some intensity here with a face. What's a good face that we make when we're taking a trade? I'm gonna say like this one. Oh man, where did it go? Oh yeah. There we go.
You, bro, but they can't hear you.
Well, we're in the trade. And this is, I feel like, I hope that's the right face. We're in the trade, and let's see how it plays out. Yeah, okay. So we blasted through this level. I don't know if it's going to come down enough. It probably will. I think it's pretty choppy. So like this is so this trade is so this trade is still live. We're just going to see how it keeps going here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So this is one of those situations. Now, this is great that this happened. I'm happy it played out like this, because you enter the trade and you pump into the profit sometimes, and then it pulls back really hard, right? It didn't pull back to where break even. So that's kind of nice. We didn't get stopped out if we did move it to break even. But this is the nature of market movements. And I know it's easy to see when you do a replay, but imagine this in real time. Each one of these are 5-minute candles, and you're watching this thing every 5 minutes sell off, losing all the profit that you have. And this is a psychology of trading that breaks most people, where they're just going to exit the trade somewhere here, right? And it's going to be a negative risk to reward, right? So they're just going to take their profit and run instead of letting it come up and hit their profit. So that's what makes a good, profitable long-term trader, is the ability to hold through the waves that kind of go up toward their TP, right? And if you can do that, you will notice a huge improvement in your profit and loss overall. So let's just keep that in mind, that it's just part of the game to get into the profit, lose some of that profit, make it back, lose some, make it back, lose some. Nothing ever goes straight up unless you're trading NFP or something and you get lucky, right? So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so that would be a successful trade setup under ideal market conditions. So those are two examples, guys, of sometimes the 1 hour is going to be choppy. We can't avoid we can't know exactly when it's going to be choppy, but when it is, it can be difficult. And then sometimes when it's running clean like it is here, that's the ideal market conditions. And that's just the nature of trading. So yeah, that's the two examples I'm going to give. My eyeballs are going to fall out of my head soon because I was streaming for 2 hours earlier. Yes. So I'm going to take this video. I will, if you missed the beginning part of it or anything, I'll post it on the YouTube in a few hours. Okay, so don't sweat it. I can't take too many questions because I have to go for a bit and then I have to stream again in the VIP later. If you are interested in the VIP as well, I sent out an email this morning. If you didn't get the email for some reason, let me know in general chat because we have issues with them bouncing sometimes. So you can let me know in general chat here under inquiries and chat. Just let me know there and we will get you the link. Okay, so don't sweat it. And I think, is it under announcements? Actually, let me see. Is it announcements? Oh yes, it's under announcements. Hang on, let me link it here. Announcements. There we go. All right, guys. I can't. Yeah, I appreciate you guys coming out. I hope that helped. I will, and we also have the new PFK Alpha analysis right here. So I'm just posting like different situational items in there that you can kind of read through and kind of get the feel for it as well. So yeah, appreciate you guys coming out. Okay, and for all the VIP members, I will see you at after market reset. I'm gonna go live at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna do a deep dive into some risk management stuff and other cool stuff. So I will see you there. All right, peace, guys. Thanks for coming out.